Lacuna now ships with 32 pre-made styles to choose from. The pre-made styles that we had before were roughly a year old, and a lot of the functionality and features that we offer today were not being utilized in those styles. We're using these new styles to do two things at once. We wanted to give you really nice styles that you can use right out of the box, but we also wanted to use them as a way to give you inspiration as well as give you an insight into all of the different functionality that we offer. Each new style has customizations to every element that you can use in your book, as well as different print settings and body text. We've now added a application-wide configuration for project backups. There's a new cogwheel on the bottom right-hand corner of the window. When you open that, you'll now see project settings, and the only one we have now is project backups. In order to start using this feature, you need to select your backup folder. Within this folder, any project that you're working on will get its own folder. The backups will be stored within that folder, so they're easy to find. The keep option allows you to choose how many backups you want per project. If you're someone who has really image heavy books, you might want to keep this number a little bit lower. If you're someone with text heavy books, you can usually keep this a lot higher. Obviously, if you have the disk space, it doesn't matter either way, but it's just something to keep in mind. And frequency allows you to control how often these backups will be created. You can have it create a backup on every single save, or you can guarantee that at least 15 minutes have gone by before the last backup was taken, so you have more of a separation between each one. Print margins are now split up into 4 zones: the save zone, the content zone, your header zone, and your footer zone. When it came to the inside gutter and the outside edges of the old version, you combined save zone and content zone into the same value. The problem with that model is it started to break down when you had things like full page images and you wanted the image to take up the entire page without becoming a full bleed image. To help you better understand the differentiation, we created a new concept called margin guidelines. When you're looking at the print previewer, if you toggle on margin guidelines, you will now see 4 separate boxes. If you've uploaded a PDF to KDP before, you'll know that they add a gray border around each page to show you the safe zone. The margin guideline that is dark gray is the exact same one that you'll see in KDP. The magenta guideline will be your content zone, and your header and footer will show up in blue. This will help you build intuition for how the different zones work. One more thing that we added to help you is under the safe zone, you'll now see a small helper panel. This panel will help you choose the exact safe zone that you need for Amazon KDP, Ingram Spark, and Lulu. A quick note about this panel is KDP and Lulu, they change their expected safe zones based on page count numbers. This helper is page count aware. The top left page count in your project is one way that it updates. The other way is anytime you generate the whole book in the print previewer, that will also update it. Just be aware that when you start to adjust the content zone and the safe zone, it does change page count numbers, so you might have to go back and forth every now and then to make sure that you're using the most optimal numbers. This separation was required before we add page borders because you're going to need to be able to put the page border in the safe zone. Then you'll be adjusting the content zone to make sure you don't get text overlapping your page border. The other thing to know about this feature is that your full page images now have 3 zones in which you can place them: the content zone, the safe zone, and the full bleed. And if you have your margin guidelines on, you can see that happening in real time. And last but not least, when you're working in the print previewer, you can open the print preview settings and you'll see that you can individually control the margin guidelines. We also added something called page side labels. So if you're someone who likes to use uniform margins, at the top of your page, you'll now see if it's on the left or the right, just for a little bit extra help. When you're using the project-wide search or search elements tabs, we've now added functionality. So anytime you click on one of those elements, it will sync with the editor and the previewer at the same time. On the ebook previewers, you will see a small highlight of the element that you're looking for. On print, it doesn't do that, but it will jump to the right page. And just a reminder, if you didn't know this, when you're in the editor, if you want to sync the previewer to your editor, you can hit Control and right bracket on Windows, Command and right bracket on Mac, and it will jump over to that spot in the previewers.